It's going to get even harder in the days ahead to know what we are capable of, to know what we're able and willing to do and sacrifice for ourselves and each other, especially as more people become disabled or chronically ill, because we are living through a mass disabling era. I've been living in a disabled body mind for a very long time, so these are going to be some concepts that I've found helpful. You could think of them as cakes concepts if you want, and you could take whatever slice you like. Our body minds are generative and compositional, which means we can generate new possibilities, and we can compose things from existing possibilities. We could build pretty much anything out of Legos, but we could also design and build new kinds of Legos. This is very similar to the way we use language, because we can create new words, and we can compose new sentences and paragraphs and essays and books out of existing words. We are constantly in a loop where our perceptions are feeding our predictions about our future, which is feeding back into our perceptions. They're constantly feeding into each other, and we do this to meet the homeostatic needs of our body. This is the most important part of the entire video. All of this is heavily reliant on context. The only reason that our body mind can sort through perceptions and make predictions about our future is because of our current context and the history of all of the experiences that we have had. You might think that my context in this moment is laying in this bed, but it's not. It's my perceptions of the bed. And it is not just external. It's not just what I'm seeing, and it's not just what I'm touching. It is the way my body feels internally. Your context is external and internal in every moment. One of the most important part of our context in any moment is our relationships. And here I'm not going to give you some empty platitudes about go out and form community. In the physical world, it's easier to have an embodied sense of ourselves because we are usually moving and interacting with our environment in different ways than we are in the online or digital worlds. And we have much more specific context. Like, you know that you go to the kitchen to cook or you go to the bathroom to pee, right? What do you come to TikTok for? Digital devices and social media is a much more generic context than the physical or offline world that our brain evolved to function in. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is bad for us, but it means that there is a gap, and that gap ends up being filled by the algorithms. However, we miss out when we only focus on the algorithm and we don't talk about the design, because it is the design of this software that will nudge you towards one choice and put sludge in the way of you and another choice. It is the design of the software that decides to show you metrics like likes and views and followers. One of my favorite books is Why Greatness Cannot Be Planned, The Myth of the Objective, and it talks about how whenever there is an objective in a search system, it leads to less creativity, which means any kind of metric, but most specifically in our world, the endless growth of capital. Survival of the fittest is bullshit. Survival is not our objective. It is a search constraint. We are just searching, not even knowing what we're looking for. It is normal to feel lost. It is normal to have to take huge risks. The thing that we need to do is leave creative stepping stones for everyone else with whatever we find, and that's what we were doing here. Precarity is also potential. Entropy is also opportunity. If we want to take the risks necessary to face the giant issues that we are facing no matter what we do, there is nowhere that you can run from climate crisis. And we are going to have to become comfortable with uncertainty. We're going to have to make friends with our own confusion, with nuance, and let go of rigidity. We will have to let go of false binaries like individual versus collective change, and instead see these things as inflow. When individuals change, collectives change, and vice versa. Existing in reality together is the only way to form authentic relationships, and relationships are the only way to hold on to reality. As long as we pit reality versus relationships, which is what is currently happening with misinfo, disinfo, and polarization, we will all lose. And currently, that is the most profitable software business models, to pit reality versus relationships and to monetize the resulting tension and attention. I'm not going to sugarcoat my complex feelings about this app or software overall as a disabled technologist. There's a lot of issues and there's a lot of good. But what I will say is that I'm incredibly grateful for every person that I was able to learn from and with while I've been on here. It has helped me express my creativity, find my voice, show my intellect in a different way that did not feel so commercialized and exploited. Although as a person who never made or spent $1 on this app, I do still feel like I was exploited, at least in terms of my energy and focus and emotional regulation. I'd do it all again though, and I don't have many